What a difference a week makes. Thanks for tuning in to the G-Man Command Post. I'm your host, Gene Sannon, and the New York Giants just made believers out of over 81,000 fans in MetLife Stadium yesterday night. Just last week, New York walked off the field with their heads held down and New Orleans losing. They were lost, confused, and I was screaming last week that everybody was going to get fired. I really thought that. But this week, the New York Giants came out firing on all cylinders. Jaxon Dart looked like a stud, and we kicked those dirty Eagles out of our stadium. New York Giants 34, them Dirty Birds 17. If you want the New York Giants to continue winning, go out, like, subscribe, and share so that we can grow and we can continue making awesome contents like this. Thanks for tuning in. I got my phone here with me, so continue bearing with me. Opening drive. Jaxon Dart looked fearless. He looked in control. Did not at all look like a rookie. Confident in the pocket, decisive when running. He was like a veteran, a 6-year veteran, but remember, this is his first year. So we got to cut him some slack. It doesn't have any of his wide receivers. He doesn't have, he didn't have Darius Slayton. He didn't have Malik Neighbors, and he still went out, balled out, ran the ball. Man, this kid's a stud. And to think that we got him in the 25th pick of the first round. 24 other teams passed up on this guy. But Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, they saw something that none of us saw. I remember during the draft, I was yelling, screaming at the television, why would you guys not choose Shedeur Sanders? They knew better than me, and man, I'll give it up to them. Stats. 17 for 25, 195 yards, passing touchdown, 13 carries for 58 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. This kid was electric. Giants led 20-17 at halftime, breaking their old 10 to 17 point range radius for the whole game typically, right? But by halftime, they were up against the Dirty Birds 20-17. And when they came out with momentum, and it looked like the Giants did something that they haven't been able to do almost all season. They made halftime adjustments. Man, I am proud. Last week I was yelling and screaming, fire everybody. This week the tone changed because it has to. Because New York came out and they did something that nobody believed. Not a single expert predicted that the New York Giants was going to come out and win. What did they do? They proved everybody wrong. They had less than a 20% chance of even remotely going anywhere near a win in this column. But New York came out. They said, Saquon who? We don't need him. Neighbors who? We can do without him. Can't make this up, people. You can't make this up. Midway through the third quarter, Dart takes a hard hit from a scramble. He stayed down, silent, and we're all holding our breath. I thought, oh my gosh, did the turf monster strike again? Because I've been a firm believer that the Giants should get rid of the turf. They need to get some fresh grass in there. Because that's, it has claimed several of our top players, Malik Neighbors, Odell Beckham. I thought that it struck again. I was holding my breath. I saw that it was a hard hit, but I thought, what if it's not? What if it's something else? And that wasn't the case. New York fans were all holding their breath, but Dart finally got up and went over to the blue tent with Russell Wilson taking over the field, and the very first play he threw it at the dirt. I don't know what he was looking at. But and you immediately started hearing the entire fan base roaring and disappointment and anger. We all wanted to see the kid come out and play, but he went into concussion protocol, and but thank goodness he came back. Over the side, we kind of had the video of Brian Dayball kind of like going over there and asking the medical guys to kind of like speed up. Hey, hurry up, get this guy back out here if he's able to come back out here. And of course we later found out that he is possibly getting in some sort of trouble, because you're not really supposed to do that. You got to give them time to let the medical examiners do their job. And yeah, but once Dart came back, the offense looked in control. Cam Scatterboo had 19 carries, 98 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That dude is an absolute beast. Like I love this kid, man. Like he just fights. He plays with grit, physicality, and you just can't help but smile and see this kid. Like maybe he might at the end of his career, he might end up with CTE. I am worried about that, but you know what? For now, he's out here. He's doing his thing. Let's just hope he makes it to his second contract. Let's see. No Darius Slayton, no Malik Neighbors. Wan'Dale Robinson had 6 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. Lil Jordan Humphreys had 4 catches for 55 yards, and we actually had a sighting of Jalen Hyatt. It was 3 for 17. Not flashy, but compared to weeks past, we'll take it. He hasn't given us any sort of production this entire year, but finally he's getting a shot. He's making the catches that he's supposed to. He had he had 6 targets total. He had 3 drops, and one of them went for it was a flag on the play. But you know what? I see him out there competing, and that's really all I can hope for. On the defensive side, Spider-Man showed up. Spider-Man showed up. Spider-Man was in the Big Apple, all right? Brian Burns had 2 more sacks, ruthless pressure every single night, the entire night. Every time he made a play, MetLife exploded. Darius Muasau added a sack. Cordell Flott had what I thought was the winning play of the game. He had a clutch interception. Drew Phillips had a fumble recovery, and Dane Belton was all over the defensive backfield. On the Dirty Bird side, I will refuse to call them by their actual name. They will only be referred to as the Dirty Birds. All right. Hurts hadn't thrown a pick in 304 straight passes. Down 27-17 in the fourth quarter, a chance to make it a 1-score game. He went to throw a pass to Jahan Dotson, who was undercut, and it was a 68 yards back the other way. That's how the interception happened. Hurts' first interception of the season, and he came at the worst possible time. And that is not something that the New York Giants ever really get to say. So I'll take it however it comes, but damn. That play was a dagger, and you could just hear the stadium erupt when it happened. The Giants closed out the game with 21 unanswered points. Final 34, Dirty Birds 17. The crowd was shaking the stadium. And it was, I keep thinking back on it, and I'm actually really disappointed in myself because, somebody presented me an opportunity to go to the game. They came in my comment section and they said, they were like, hey, if you want these tickets, just hit me up. I was like, oh, I got to go to work. I should have canceled work. I should have canceled work and gone to that game. If I had known that this is exactly how it was going to play out, I would have. But I didn't have enough belief in my New York Giants boys. And that's on me. They're making a believer out of me. Of course I need to see more. But the next person who hops in my comment section with tickets, I'm not going to work that day. I'm gonna be there. All right, I'm gonna be there. Jaxon Dart was cleared to return the game, but missed the final 2 plays of that drive. On Friday, Brian Daboll said Dart was back in the facility, but still being evaluated. Because once you are under concussion protocol, you go and you take an exam during whenever that play happens that you had your concussion, and if you clear it the very next day, you go back and you take another one. So as of right now, I haven't heard whether he's cleared the second one. He's saying that he's feeling his body a little bit, because after every single game, of course you're going to. But a quote from Brian Daboll said, "In no way would I want a player to come back out there that wasn't ready." And I believe him, but I think he's coaching with the fear that he's gonna that his whole coaching career rides on this kid. This is the guy that he drafted. This is the guy he wants out there. And I get it. I really do, because you see how electric Jaxon Dart is. I feel like his biggest regret was not riding with him from day one, but instead allowing for Russell Wilson to be the day one quarterback. So now that he's out there, he just wants him to go out and perform and do all of the things that he's currently doing. And you could tell, man, Daboll loves this kid. So we just saw one of the most dominant performances by a running back in the New York Giants side since Saquon Barkley. 19 carries, 98 yards, 3 solid, hard-worked touchdowns. Speaking of Saquon, he can't seem to get us out of his head, but I understand it. Don't get me wrong, I love Barkley. He was one of my favorite running back. I have his jersey. But, it hurt me and broke my heart when I hear him say that he would have willingly signed 10, 11, $12 million contract with the New York Giants to stay as our franchise running back had, our regime just handled it the right way. But at the same time, just having to think that one of the reasons why they did not offer him a contract was to sign Brian Burns, and to see him come out and absolutely dominate this season. I mean, he's always been a dominant player, but seeing him dominate this season, particularly Mr. Spider-Man himself, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I really am not. Seeing, the New York Giants elevating some of their practice squad players like a little Jordan Humphries, coming out and doing his thing, high pointing a ball for an awesome catch was something that we haven't seen in a while. I'm excited. I'm excited. I actually, I saw him in the preseason, and I wasn't exactly sure, if this could translate, but it looks like it possibly can. I thought that it would have been somebody else I was going to be getting the call, like a Bo Collins, because I saw him last week, but little Jordan Humphries looked like he belongs in this league, and I'm happy with that. Seeing Jalen Hyatt come out also and doing his thing, it's something, and I'll take anything at this point. For a third round draft pick. I had so much expectations because, one of my favorite team is the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I saw the game that he put out against Alabama when he came out and just torched the Tides, And so I thought that was going to translate, and I kept waiting for it. Everybody would have, said that it was a consensus when the New York Giants drafted him. But since then, he just hasn't showed up, I'm happy seeing him on the field. I'm rooting for him. I want him to succeed. I really do. But that's on him. Back to the defense. Darius Muoso, another one of Joe Schoen's draft pick, coming out, balling out. I'm excited and happy for him. Seeing Drew Phillips, he has been everything that the Giants needed this year. I'm so excited for this kid. He came out and he's playing. Dane Belton, another one of these studs. He's been a little quiet, number 27, a little quiet this entire year, but You know, he came out and he had a game, you know, to be proud. You know, Jalen Hurts and these Dirty Birds, they've had our numbers. You know, like they're the creme de la creme of the league. You know, they are, you know, like they're the team that everybody is expecting to go, you know, back to back, or you know, to win the division again, because the them dirty Cowboys and Washington Commanders, you know, like they're doing their thing. You know, I got nothing against Washington, you know, because I seen them. They were just as bad as the Giants at one point, or the Giants always had their number, and now they're up and they're doing their thing. You know, that's the conversation for another point in time. You know, they're speaking of them, they're actually the only team that I felt like this year they downright beat the Giants, and the Giants had no chance against them. But everybody else, I genuinely felt like the New York team should have had an opportunity to beat them. You know, we should have been a lot better, you know, this year, and our records should have reflected that. But right now we're 2-4, and it's not exactly what we want, but it's better than being 1-5. And after last week's performance, where we went out and gave it up to New Orleans, nobody was picking us to win. You know, so I'll take it. I will take this W, and I don't care how anybody else talks. I don't care how anybody else feels about it. I really don't. Because guess what? A W is a W. We're not giving it back to you. It doesn't matter how much you cry and whine in the comment section. Doesn't matter. We won. Take your L's, you dirty stinking birds. I can't stand any of you. Y'all want the beef so bad. So I created a comment section just for you guys. Just for you Eagles fans. Just for you Cowboys fans. Just for you Washington Commanders fans. Y'all could get the smoke anytime, all right? Come to my comment section. Come fight, argue with me. I'm here for it. I'm not a troll, but I can be a troll. So whatever you got, whenever, wherever. All right, so let's go over some of my favorite comments from some of the videos that I put out. Yamatoha, I don't know if that's actually how to even, like, you know, pronounce your name, but he put out a comment. Well, she put out a comment. That's fair, but calling the Cowboys mid is wild, considering we've still been a playoff team while the Giants are trying to rebuild for the 8th year in a row. At least Dallas stayed competitive every season. Consistency still counts for something. Yeah, still counts for you guys being top tier trash. I mean, y'all acting like as though, like, you know, you all won the Super Bowl. Remind me, when was the last time you won the Super Bowl? In the 21st century? No? Oh, okay. Shut up. Giants been rebuilding so long, they should apply for a construction permit. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are still collecting regular season win while y'all are still collecting draft picks. Don't get smoked by a woman in this chat. First and foremost, lady, don't nobody give a damn about the fact that you're a woman. You could still get the smoke. You could still get the smoke. Really? You've got to be kidding me. Like, you think you guys are going to win a single thing with Jerry Jones as your GM and owner? Jerry Jones. Him? You guys are running your mouth with him in the helm. Moving on. And one of you funny Eagle fan came out. We taking this L on the chin. We're still going to the playoffs, and y'all are not. But great run for y'all. Aww. Seems to me like you're trying to pat me in the back while trying to comfort yourself too. Yeah, great win for us, but you didn't give it to us. We took it from y'all. Outright. 34-17. Just letting you know. You know. Vexy was by far my favorite comment. Man, that dude was trolling. He had y'all going. He said, it's been years because the Giants are actively rebuilding while the Cowboys are okay with being mid. It's constant trading stars for stars with no goals for the future. You guys get a player, develop them, and then get terrible compensation and slowly become worse. Get 'em, Vex. And then by far my personal favorite, and this one didn't even age well. Like somebody put LMFAO 1-4. You're trying to hype up a 1-4 team. That's embarrassing. I'm a Giants fan. I've been a Giants fan. I've been a Giants fan before Eli. I've been a Giants fan through Eli. And I'm a Giants fan after Eli. I'm a Giants fan during this Dart era, and I'll be a Giants fan long after that. Okay? Whether they suck, whether I want to claim to be an independent ball observer for a season because I know that my Giants are bad, it doesn't matter. I am a Giants fan. I will hype New York to and through. Okay? Okay? I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but yeah, I'm gonna hype them up no matter what. Cause that's my team, that's my squad. Ride or die, baby. I don't think you know anything about that though. We're gonna leave that there.
Kalshi has the Eagles at over a 70% chance win rate. Do the Giants truly think they're gonna be wrong?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
No, it's not possible. That is not possible. You gotta be kidding me.
A great success.
It's Jaxon Dart. No one has heard of Jaxon Dart. He's running. He's running. I told you he's gonna run. No. 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 No.
Oh my God. Did I hit the bird? Amy.
That's all for the G-Man Command Post. I'm your host, Gene Sannon. If you haven't already, check out my full write-up on Medium, Spider-Man and the Big Apple, The Night the Giants Believed Again. Listen to my audio podcast, and check me out on social media. Like, follow, and share, and subscribe so that this channel can grow and we can become a bigger audience. Like I've said in almost like all of the videos that I've created, the goal for doing all of this is to eventually end up in WFAN. So yeah, let's go. Let's do it.